we are going to hear from Bryce Schramm. Bryce.
Yeah.
Well, hi. Well, I forgot to bring a guitar strap today, so this should be interesting.
Well, chair?
Strapless.
Why don't you sit?
Should I sit?
Yeah.
Thanks, Scott.
This might make it a little bit more hard. Because even though I don't really have lyrics for this song, I have the guitar part and stuff, and I have an idea in mind while I was sitting here and stuff, listening to everyone's, voice and all their stories and stuff. And it reminded me of a few of mine that I have, and a lot of my friends who used to call me in times of their need, not really having the will to live, So I'm gonna title that "Losing Your Will to Live" or something like that. So I'm a little bit nervous, so. Let's see if my lyrical improv is on point tonight. What do you do when you awake in the middle of the night? From a friend in need, crying their eyes out. Softly as you talk to them, it won't be alright. No matter what you say, they won't believe you. It keeps you up at night, wanting to save their life. You do the best you can, but they still want to end it all. Feel and understand their pain. Why does it happen so young? Maybe it's the pressure of the other you. Too scared to be yourself. I have a friend who calls me almost every night. She always has on her mind the suicidal tendencies always in her heart. A troubled youth never leaves her side. Does it happen so young? Is it because of the other youth? I don't know, but I've gone through it all. This goes out to those who understand all of them. Oh, Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bryce.
Yes.
Good to see you back.
Thank you. Good to be back. Missed you guys.
All right, next we have Mr. Mike G.
After 28 years of doing this, I'm grateful we have the privilege to still assemble and read with no censorship. And I hope that that continues for a while, because we can't assume that it always will. We're going to have to fight for it, I think. Free speech and no censorship and the ability to assemble and to read is a sacred thing. And we are very privileged to have lived in an age where that can happen. So we ready ourselves to continue that fight. My friends, many of us lost our marbles down the portal. Mine were stolen by a 10-year-old. At the post-coital cerebral center, I seek a philosophy to get me through winter. When I'm very old and you're all dead, I'll perform before a wind-blown napkin. If that's all there is, I'll read my best for it. A-rumpa-bum-bum. The monsters came to the world of the blind, places of safety no one could find. Sometimes we picked the wrong time to climb the mountain, like when the moon is blood and the Pop-Tarts expire, the silver bones of Jesus dancing ecstatic at the wailing, decaying wall, and when you're sick in the mind and time refuses to crawl, and you feel that a 10-year-old neighbor girl is dreaming your life. Somewhere she sings, "Don't bogart that joint, my friend. Pass it over to me." And all the avocados gone bad and Venus shining down on the lawn. At least we crumbled together. They dusted our crumbs in the morning, but found no prints, just poems about becoming cookies so easily deleted. Moon's playing peekaboo and tag your it in my mind as it readies to be eclipsed in the panic attack inherent in that. Guess I'll write my heart out till it stops, she says. Existence and Christmas are up in the air again, but like the stars are, so not so bad, she says. Commentary on the absurdity is all that remains after the loss of magic, she says. Mostly, my colossal intelligence has made me unhappy, she says. Privately concerned that I'm alone in my thoughts, that everyone else sides with the undead and the robots, I'm optimistic enough to hope that I'm wrong, she says. I'm just trying to invent a sentence that gets me from one moment to the next, she says. When I forget I have a girlfriend, I write a poem about forgetting I have a girlfriend. I write poems because something terrible has happened to everything, because I'm blocked from doing what I want. I fully intend to write poems at my own funeral, she says. My psychological events I've written are true. I do not worship the impersonal like T.S. Eliot, she says. Why doesn't the liquor store have a rewards program? I'd love to get booze coupons in the mail. If my cereal costs more than my smokes, fuck it, she says. I hope Parallel Universe me is doing okay now, she says. I wish I liked your poems, but I don't, she says. Is the sobbing I hear part of the illusion? Listen to the moon coming out. Can you hear her? The memories are more real to me than what's happening now. In the end, I'll hold a yellow rose and tell everyone I love them. None of the drama mattered. See you at the afterworld, Voodoo Donuts, she says. Sometimes I just want to read about Prince Henry and his nice life, she says. If ghosts exist, the cosmos is sick, she says. Wyoming man arrested after traveling from 2048 to warn of alien invasion. Whatever that Wyoming man was drinking was out of this world. Mary had a little lamb who was massacred by terrible rich hipsters. Part 7 won the Oscars in 2048. That's how bad things got, the time traveler said as he got drunker, and so did I. The surreal bullshit that passes for news in the 21st century, she says. Two poets with vast vocabularies once again fail to understand the other's language of love. So good to see you, she says. When can I have the pleasure again? At my funeral, she says. The next human emergency's always taking practice swings on the on-deck circle, so when one strikes out, I have a few seconds to take a deep breath before battling the next, which smiles with confidence as it prophesizes my demise by pointing to the bleachers. Very reassuring to remember that I can lose myself in the mysteries of the whole, you know, who built the moon thing. That's how I cope with shit happens. Love made time and space to laugh at its own derangements. When everything explodes around me, I'll curl into a question mark and wait for the answer. Two more things. I only eat hamburgers that died naturally of happy old age. My cure for insomnia is to read a literary poem lacking courage, and in the time it takes to mouth weak, I'm asleep. Fortunately for my insomnia, most literary poems lack courage. Happiness is a honey bucket and a hammock to call home. And why do the police dress like Batman now? You are without age or time in my mind. We knew so little, so very little. The Oregon Lotto's winning numbers are 19, 47, 8, 62, 3, 21, 5. I'm going to the ocean now, she says. Even the great ones drown, she says. Thanks.
Yeah, man, awesome.
Oh, Mr. Mike J. Mike was in the house.
Really good, she said.
And Christopher, you are up. Christopher Luna, come on down.
Yes. I'll read some poems later. This is the portion of the evening where I regale you with announcements of the great things that are happening. One thing that we should probably start with is we found out that the songbook reading is on November 18th at Post 134. And if you don't know about Post 134 and what Sean Davis and others have been doing there, look it up. There's been a ton of articles and things written about them. Taking care of the homeless when we had the horrible storms we had last winter. Just so many things that they're doing. And it's kind of like a new generation of younger American Legion members saying, we've got this beautiful space and we're going to use it to make our community a better place. There's just all kinds of great stuff happening at Post 134.
And if you
They have
go,
open mics there, too.
Yes, there's
yes,
yeah.
What was it called?
Post 134 is the name of the venue. It's on Alberta Street in Portland. And the event is called Songbook. Ian and I and some other great people, like Daniel Elder, I think is one of them, will be there on November 18th.
It's a Saturday.
Saturday,
Yeah.
November 18th.
Fuck yeah!
and if you can bring a can or two of like canned goods or dry food, anything, any little bit that you can bring or as much as you can bring, because they do feed veterans and others, the homeless.
Yeah. And for those of you who'd like to drink, that you can get a beer in there while you're in there too, or other beverages of your choice. So just two other quick ones. The work, the generative poetry workshop that I teach. The Saturday version of it is happening this Saturday at 11:30 at Niche Next Door. We're also adding a Monday evening once a month until we see sort of how many people are into it. Last Monday of the month version of the work, and also for people that are working and want to participate. So the first one of those will be on October 30th at 6 o'clock here in the gallery, just so you know. Yeah, 11:30 to 2:30 this Saturday next door, or right next door. And October 30th here in the gallery, 6 o'clock, 6 to 8:30. So
What was the time again?
6 to 8:30 on October 30th, yeah. and that'll continue in, as long as people are coming and want to do it. And another thing that we really are proud of and happy about is that we had to extend the deadline for the adult version of Poetry Moves, the Poems on the Bus program that happens here. And there's some people in this room who've had their poems on the bus, and Todd Marshall's had a poem on the bus. We kind of split the year in half. January to June is the adults, and then July through the end of the year are the students. So right now, if you ride the buses in Clark County, you can see some of the student poems, and we're also right now the contest for the adults, Clark County residents who would like to try to get a poem on the bus is happening. And what did we adjust the deadline to?
The submission deadline is at midnight on October the 27th. So you have a little better than a week to get that in.
Yeah.
And if you go to printedmatter.com, printedmattervancouver.com, sorry, that's our website, I should know it. You will find all of the submission requirements. And one of the first requirement is that you be a resident of Clark County. That's it, right?
That's it on the announcements.
Okay, you're up next.
Oh, okay. Okay, so thank you. Thank you for listening to the announcements, and thank you for the people like Alex, who's already gone, who've been kind enough to mention the workshop after taking it, so I appreciate that. They do that without any money changing hands between me and them, so I appreciate that they enjoyed it enough to want to mention it to the crowd here at Ghost Town. Okay, and our next reader is going to be Rob Syverson. Come on up, Rob. Excuse me.
Hey, good plan. I'm a lefty too, so you don't see that very often.
Sure.
Got to do this.
Lefty power.
Yeah, that's right. And I just want to thank, is that okay?
You need to bring it up even
I didn't bring it
higher.
up higher? Okay.
Yeah, you're doing great. You got this. Believe in you.
That's gonna do
Is that
it.
better?
Yeah.
I just want to thank you for holding space for everyone here, and I feel like this is like the beginning, and we're just gonna get more and more strong from here, like more creative. This area is just blowing up. So this poem is just kind of, it really is kind of about all these faces and what they're doing to what they've done and like what's going on in the world. So anyway, it's called Wayward Pose. This pen can't write and meander down dark, moss-ridden walkways. How can our souls seek justice? What can we stand behind if the magnitude of youth is incinerated by self-righteous pyromaniacs? Who will pay the dividend if the profits are inhaled by fat cat narcissists? Factories churning out planned obsolescence where humanity is an endangered species. Why do we chase the accident when the womb of our dark basement hasn't even scratched the surface of our soul's statement? I wish for maddening art and habitual rebellion. Don't ignore the quiet child's ghost. White privilege should be sent to another planet where aliens can study it and be mystified. And this one's called Fabric Cabbage Sauce. Don't ask. Not sure what train you jumped. The beautifully mind-rotted frontal lobe can put your finger on the pulse of the utter, naive, false sense of idiotic dreams and tasty cabbage sauce. This oxytocin-infused sauce is ironically bittersweet. I can't find the alley in my heart that beats. This hollow steam-filled love affair is caught between the dreams of suffrage and truth. I went to hell last night and saw an angel. The sun set in the east and the cabbage sauce you made still reeks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Val. And another one of our really active and cool poetry communities in the region is Hillsboro, Oregon. And we have with us tonight one of the folks that is really active there, and also just want to say we appreciate you making the drive from Hillsboro to here to be with us. Please say hello to our friend Rosemary Lombard.
Thanks. I don't come very often. Today it was a lot of miles of 10 miles an hour. I'm going to start with a very short poem from my new book. Almost new, actually. I got my copies this week, even though it was published a whole year ago. Things really got messed up. This is called Wofford's Eyes. Wofford is one of the tortoises, an East African pancake tortoise, in my research group. I have been studying turtle cognition since 1979. Wofford, your eyes are midnight skies of miniature worlds, far from our planet's city lights and the vapor of our air. Each shining bead reflects a single star, but hides your mysteries behind their blackness. Tell me, tortoise the size of my hand, how can I read their secrets? This one makes me happy because I just won a prize with it. Go after some paper towels. The Apple's Attitudes. 1. All my world's a dream of liberty red, but I am merely a pale, pale rose. I have crept out from my branch, a pink promise of what I might become, my corolla, a crown, incipient, tight, drawn in. Its tip points to the sky in hope. 2. Why, naive as Bambi, the blush of pink has flown off my corolla, as their petals, graceful now and virgin white, sway and dance with newborn leaves. My perfumed allure to the visits of black and golden bees through my bush, shaking the air with their titillating buzz. Come, bees, land and find the center of my being. Brush by my anthers as you seek our conjoined sweetness, my secret pleasure. Pollinate, pollinate. 3. My petals have gone off one by one, and the bees that were my bees are choosing another. What is left is next to nothing, a tiny, hard green globe, but green is the icon of all nature, a manifestation of growth. Will I grow? I find I do, but how or why, I do not know. 4. The daughter of Apollo, the only apple of his radiant eye, I am the first of my tree in turning crimson, the color of triumph and power. Soon at the banquet, I will be the Apollonian queen, as I, enthroned alone, am placed before the king.
Yes.
And one tiny one, which is quite different. This is a limerick for Halloween. This is from, this came out in Saturday Evening Review of all literary places. This is the one they liked. In spite of their usual contentions, the witches show up at conventions. They must be there soon by the light of the moon. Their union is asking for pensions.
So our next poet, Tony and I were fortunate enough to meet and hear this poet, and I was really blown away by what I heard at Leah Stenson's studio series, reading series at Stonehenge, and she is another person who has braved some pretty serious traffic tonight, so I'm glad that she made it here to be with us. Please welcome Tara. Come on up, Tara.
Good evening. I did not go to microphone class.
We're having microphone class right now.
Yeah, that's why we have some.
Good, on the job training. All right. This is called The Wraith Ship. See the night, beautiful one, black, undulating ocean, deeper than a mountain, stranger than a jungle. Wide, unbroken sky, holding stars by the thousands. They are numerous as salt, knocked over a dark tabletop. And a ship, a brightly lit brigantine, sails on a beam, portholes glowing with food and mirth. Night watchman scans the bowsprit. Behind, a ghostly ship slips silently after, leaving no ripple in the black sea, no sound in the sails. A tremor, a tendril, a thin slip of cloud, always undetected. The wraith ship follows mournfully, drawn to life like a moth to a candle. Just then, a green flare fires from the quarterdeck, falling and wavering into the ocean, a last desperate call of a sunken vessel on the anniversary of its doom. And one more. This is called Brother Hawk. So evergreen in your wanderings, ruddy tail fanned behind, calling the sky to us shackled creatures. You must know the sun. You must shriek in your joy to the wind, must dance with the rain, must be a heavenly creature. You land 30 paces distant, talons poised to clutch a mouse. I see you and catch my breath, green eyes meeting gold, like as the pine tree that greets the meadow sun.
I'm going to keep it up here. We have one more reader. Marie, want to come up and read for us?
Okay. Hi guys. I've never actually been to anything like this, but it was a wonderful surprise, and so I thought that I would read something that I wrote. I've never written poetry before, but really appreciate this crowd, and thank you all for sharing your words and your your experiences. So. And now that I think about this being the last one, maybe someone could go after me because it's a little bit.
Well, I always read a couple of say goodnight, so there's one more after,
Perfect.
if that makes you feel any better.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me move. Let me breathe. I have things to say about what you're doing to me. Let me move. Let me breathe. This is not okay. Muffled screams beneath your hands. Let me move. Let me breathe. This is not okay. eyes pulsing, bulging, above your grip around my neck. Let me move, let me breathe. This is not okay. Squirming beneath your weight, trying to escape. Let me move, let me breathe. This is not okay. Anger growing with each threatening word. You have no right. Let me move, let me breathe. This is not okay. Silenced with each forceful act. Let me move, let me breathe. This is not okay. Frightened beneath your gaze, frozen. Let me move, let me breathe. This is not okay. Pain inflicted, unsolicited. Let me move, let me breathe. This is not okay. Grasping, gasping. Let me move, let me breathe. I am not okay.
Thank you so much. Just a few more to say goodnight. Give me a second here. Okay, I think I know what I'm doing. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to read 3 to say goodnight, and I want to start with a poem by Julian Tripweaver, just to give you a sort of a preview of what you might hear when you come next month on the 9th of November. We have some flyers up here, and also Julene will be leading a workshop the next night after her reading, November 10th, called Poeming Health. The description she gave: are you, or is someone you love, living with a chronic illness? Are you a caregiver? This workshop will provide a clearing space to crystallize what is necessary for your survival, no matter the challenges. We will explore our personal experience through writing to our illness, to our loved one, to our pain. Bring a notebook and pens you are comfortable with. The cost of that workshop is $25. It'll happen here in the gallery. And so we'll hear from her on November 9th. The book that she's promoting is a new book called Truth Be Bold, Serenading Life and Death in the Age of AIDS. And then she'll have the workshop the next night. And all the info is up here. So this is from her previous book, No Father Can Save Her. And you'll probably know pretty quickly why I chose this poem. Catalyst to Manhattan. He was my catalyst, introducing me to his Manhattan. Knew every back alley, down a flight of stairs, restaurant in Chinatown. Took me to kung fu movies, then we ate snails in black bean sauce. I drank plum wine, he ordered native speaking in Korean haunts. He knew back alley downstairs restaurants hidden in Chinatown. The night we met, he took me to an after-hours jazz joint. Turned on to him and plum wine at his favorite Korean haunt. I learned to love humbao, sushi, and kimchi. We left that after-hours joint smiling in bright sunlight. Taekwondo black belt, he invited me to take classes. After workouts, we noshed on sushi, humbao, or kimchi. High-kick workout sweat sessions, he was a strict teacher. Taekwondo black belt master, I loved his classes. Over muscles and white wine, he handed me a Tiffany blue box. Sweat dry on my brow, proud of my earned yellow belt, he slid a friendship ring on my right index finger. Our favorite fish joint, his gift, a friendship ring from Tiffany. In love with kung fu movies, snails in black bean sauce, his ring a permanent fixture on my finger. He was my catalyst out of Queens, finally to Manhattan. That's Julian Tripweaver. All right, and here's one from me. I don't think it's finished yet, so I want to try it out, see what you think. And because I'm in a room of writers, I just want to let you know that we were in Oyster Bay. There's an Oyster Bay in Washington, as well as where I'm from, on the other side of the country. I had taken some kind of an edible, and I was watching Warren Haynes play the music of Jerry Garcia at Red Rocks on the television. Jerry dispenses advice from the great afterwards. This is just the latest manifestation of a pattern long ago established. How will you trot it anew? Where will your innovations lead us? Spend your life sincere, mouth closed, eyes wide, all-knowing, degenerate, neophyte. All and nothing to say, your best contributions precede you by generations. Pick up that thread, kid. The elders are waiting for you to step up, to bring your particular you-ness to bear as we face unpredictable horrors and head trips and myriad joyful breakthroughs. And I decided what I wanted to do last was to read something by someone else. I so appreciate that Todd Marshall practices this wherever he goes. So I thought I would make it your choice. A poem that you like from Washington 129, or a poem of yours that you'd like to hear someone else read.
How about Claudia Castro Luna's poem from 129?
Okay, and as far as we know, no relation. Although our avatars on Facebook have spoken to each other, as far as we know, no relation, but who the hell knows? Maybe if you go back far enough, right? Okay, so it's under C. I was looking under L. Thank goodness for the alphabet.
I say that daily.
Where would anybody in this room be without the alphabet, right? Oh, and go on to, after tonight, when you have a chance, go on to YouTube or online and watch the piece on PBS NewsHour on what she's been doing recently up there in Seattle. Okay, so this is Claudia Castro Luna's poem, Here Is Where We Are, from Washington 129. I have always wanted a house with a big porch, said my friend. On our walk this morning, that way I can sit, drink my coffee, and watch the rain fall. There you go. So, big thank you to everyone who participated in the open mic tonight. Thanks to Scott for helping us with sound. Thank you to Tony and to Tiffany and to Leah for having us here, and especially to our friend Todd Marshall. Thank you so much for tonight and for everything you've done in Washington State, and to all of you for your words and your energy. We hope to see you again November 9th and every second Thursday until people stop coming. Okay? Thanks a lot.